Hey everybody, welcome to another show of Hang Out With, and tonight we are privileged to have Gil Davis here. He is an entrepreneur, an author, and a speaker. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So everybody that's here so far, hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. Holy mackerel, Focus Fire, all good. Hidden Freedom, Dave, Lester is there as well. Anthony, Travis, thanks for joining us, guys. If you guys have any questions for Gil tonight at any time, please, we want to bring all you guys into this as well. Please just post it there. And hey, feel free to make them out in caps. Maybe that way I'll be able to see it faster and whatnot with everything going on here. So, all right, let's get the show started. Gil, first question to you. Tell us about you being first an author, second a speaker, and third an entrepreneur.
All right, so let's start with me being an author. So I became an author because I'm in the tech industry. So before getting into my story, the name of the book is How to Land a Tech Job. And the reason I came up with that idea is because for many years, I found myself helping so many people with their resume, things to say, things not to say, role playing, the whole 9 yards, making sure they have the right keywords inside of their resume. And then before I knew it, so many people started calling me, reaching out to me, asking me to help them with their resume and help them to get a job in the tech industry, especially when they don't have prior tech experience. So what I decided to do, I said, you know what? I think it makes sense for me to create a book, place all of my experiences and all of my techniques and tips inside of one single source, and then put it out in the market, and then have everyone to use that one single source as a step-by-step guide so that they can actually go out and apply for the job of their choice with confidence if they don't have prior tech experience. So that's why I started the book. I think the other one was me speaking. So I'm a speaker, but I'm a speaker in the tech industry. So I go out and do a lot of tech talks. And part of my tech talks, I'm providing tips and strategies around how important it is to make sure that you understand that, typing is very important. If you want a job in the tech industry, it's important to learn how to type. You don't have to go to school to learn how to type. You can go on YouTube. There are a lot of tutorials, a lot of apps. There are a lot of techniques, a lot of people out there teaching you how to type. The other thing is when you're interviewing over the phone, if you have a phone interview, make sure that when you have a phone interview that you have a smile on your face. I know it sounds crazy, but if you're smiling over the phone, the person that's interviewing you, they can see that smile on the other side of the phone. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. There are a ton of tips inside of the book about that. And also when I go out and do my tech talks, it's really about how to go in and land that tech job without prior experience. The last one is entrepreneur. So leading up to me being an entrepreneur in terms of my IT consulting firm, for many years, I've had a ton of jobs, jobs that I wasn't proud of doing, jobs that I had to do, but it led me up to finding a sweet spot. And how I got into owning my own tech consulting firm is that through my tech jobs, I've had an opportunity to engage and to interact with other consultants that was on site at my company, at the various companies I work for. And I had a chance to have conversations with some of the consultants. And basically, I was just really frustrated and tired of living paycheck to paycheck. And so what they said to me is that, hey, if you want to increase your income, the best way to increase your income is to go in business for yourself, and so that you can start creating a financial freedom for you and your family. So I did that. And so that's where I am today. So it's really just me. Yeah, it's really just me and my firm. But I go out and I travel all around helping companies. I sit down and I listen to pain points and challenges from various leaders and organizational C-level folks. And what I'm asking them, what are your pain points and your challenges? And where do you want to be in the future? Like, we identify their current state, and then we also talk about here are the steps that it's going to take in order for us to reach that level of scaling that you want to get to. And so that's me.
Boy, geez. Sound like a busy guy. How did you learn to do all this? Number one. And number two, what's your main focus?
So my main focus is getting that word out there, because technology is not going anywhere. As technology continue to evolve, I think it makes sense for us, as individuals, to make sure that we're staying current with the market. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, this new iPhone came out, or this came out." I don't want to embrace that. I don't want to follow along the trend. But I think it's important for us to always stay tuned to what's going on and what's coming out and what's being released, because everything that we do, if you're going to go do a driving test, if you're going to go do any type of test, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on a computer. And there may be a new feature or a new app or new software system that came out. And if you're not aware of that new system or no new software, then you may be left behind and you may not know how to operate it. So I think it makes sense for you to always research and always check the market for the latest and greatest technology. And so what got me started in this was I used to do a lot of customer service work when I was in college. I went to college on a track scholarship at Jacksonville, was called Florida Community College of Jacksonville. Then I went on to Jacksonville University.
Nice.
But while I was at Florida Community College of Jacksonville, I had an opportunity to get a job as a 611 operator. And then after that, I had an opportunity to do a lot of customer service jobs. Then one particular day, I received a phone call from a temp agency while I was in college. And she said, "Hey, Gil, I had a customer service job available and I wanted to see if you was available for it." And at that point in time, I've had so many, I was fed up. I didn't want to do anything that had to do with customer service. So what she said to me, she said, "Well, Gil, the title says customer service, but when I read the job description said something where you're going to be taking phone calls from people internally, and you're going to be helping them resolve issues like repair their printer, repair their computer, their at the time it was pagers, and also repair their network over the phone." And so I took a leap of faith, and I went out and I went on ahead and I worked the job. While I was working the job, my contract was about to end. And once my contract was about to end, one of the guys that I was working with, he pulled me to the side and he said, "Hey, Gil, I understand you came in under the title customer service." He said, "But he said, I want to carve out some time. I want you to sit with me, look at my resume, and I want to show you line by line that my resume says help desk. I'm a help desk specialist. And what help desk does, it actually take your job payment. Like say, for instance, we were getting $15 an hour. And now because from a customer service employee up to a help desk employee, now that takes my hourly rate to $17 to $20 to $25 an hour just with the title alone. So that's why I always tell everyone, make sure that you look at the job description, make sure that you look at the keywords, and do not be afraid of the title. Sometimes the title can, run you away, but do not be afraid of the title. But the other thing about the title too, if the title says one thing, look at the job description. You may already have been doing that job, but now take that title instead of customer service. Now you can say help desk / customer service. Now that takes you from a $15 an hour employee all the way to $20 to $25 an hour. So I started out as a help desk tech. I went from help desk technician to QA testing. So a QA testing specialist is someone that's testing the software after developers are done writing the code. And for those that are listening that are non-tech savvy, basically a software tester is someone that's looking for what we call bugs. And bugs is anything that's stopping the code from functioning properly. So if you go to Yahoo or if you go to any website and you try to click on different tabs or features, or you go into different rooms, and if you can't go into those rooms, then it's obvious that there is a bug, is something stopping it from working. So yeah, so that's really what QA testing is. And then from QA testing, I went to business analyst. So business analyst is basically someone that's documenting processes and procedures, and also playing a little cross role of being a project manager. So then I went from there over to project managing. So project managing is we're managing all of the products and projects that are going out of the door to the customer in some of the companies I work for. And from there, that's when I started going out and consulting on my own. And right now, today, I engage with a lot of companies, and my role is to make sure that the customer is happy and that we're helping them operate in a fashion where they can actually meet the market a lot faster and get things into the hands of the customer so that they can get feedback a lot faster than things in the past.
Great. Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Great answer, Gil. Great answer. First question for you tonight. Focus Fire Investing has got a question. 611 question mark.
Oh, yeah. So 611 operator is that if you call someone about issues with your phone, so that's a 611 operator. So they're there to answer any questions and to resolve any issues, and also to make sure that they run tests from their office. And if it's an issue with inside of the office and they can repair it, then they will. If they can't, they'll dispatch a technician out to your home to repair the problem. So that's what a 611 operator is.
Got it. Excellent. Afterwards, make sure go and check out everybody's station, their channels. If you think that it's something of value to you, then by all means subscribe. But let's grow and build the community up as best as we can. Gil, you have always been an amazing advocate and promoter of our community. Like, you're one of the first guys to comment. It was a very positive comment, and I think I could probably talk for the rest of everybody in our community. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're out there. I don't know when you sleep. You and Jose, it's unbelievable. You guys are like pow, pow, pow. You're everywhere.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah. It's on YouTube.
I think it's important.
All of us, thank you. Keep things going like that. It's great to see. Really good to see. So really do appreciate it.
I wanted to touch on that a little bit, Rick. I think it's important for all of us to find time to carve out some time to make sure that we're engaging with our audience, because that's one way to grow and scale your YouTube channel in an organic way. As you continue to grow and you gain more subscribers, it will become overwhelming. But at some point, you still need to carve out that time until you can actually hire someone to help you out with it. But that's just the nature of it. So I just applaud everyone that's that's been going over and beyond just to make sure that you're engaging and commenting on your subscribers.
Yeah, definitely. So everybody, Gil's channel here is running along the bottom along with his Instagram. So, please go and check it out, guys. Go and check it out. So, Gil, why do you do what you do? The big why.
Yeah. The reason I do what I do is because I'm a helper. I'm a giver. And I want to make sure that I'm making an impact. If I'm not making an impact, I feel like I'm useless here. So I'm always trying to figure out, how can I assist someone? How can I help someone? It's not always monetary. I think it makes sense if not just myself, but if everyone can just lend a helping hand, because we all have some experience. We all have some techniques that we've learned over the years.
Yeah.
And I think if we can just share some of those techniques, I think we can help other people gain that confidence so they can go out and do whatever it is they want to do in the world.
Yep. Yeah. I'm always preaching that as well. Work as a team. It makes a huge difference. I mean, if I can pass on, just like you do as well, Gil, a little bit of information to somebody, it will save so much time and probably money as well. So, and you all work together. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about YouTube as a platform anyways. But I mean, our community, we keep communicating, keep talking to one another and talk about what we're figuring out and whatnot. So, but getting back, why do you do what you do? Expand on that more.
Yeah. So I do what I do because, I just want to help people.
Great.
I just want to add value. Like I said, if I'm not here adding value and helping people in some way, because I'll give you another example. I started this YouTube channel because I wanted to film my journey of getting back into shape. When I left high school, I was about 160 pounds. And just recently, I was at 156. I was at 256 pounds, almost 260. Yeah. And so I started feeling unhealthy. I started feeling sluggish. And so I said, you know what? And then I just turned 45 at the time when I decided, about a few months ago, when I decided to film this. And so while I was filming this, I had to buy a lot of stuff. I had to buy a lot of things that was going to make my videos, my video quality great, right? So once I accumulated so many different things, I said to myself, you know what? Why don't you do an unboxing to show everyone all the new things that you just picked up? So when I did that, it evolved into started searching for names to create the company and to create the YouTube channel so that I can unveil it. And
Right.
so I went away from showing my journey to working out to unveiling products online, because I've been in the tech industry for over 20 years. So that's what I know. And so that's how I created the channel, and that's what makes me happy, and that's why I do what I do.
Got it. Excellent answer. Excellent answer. All right. Another question for you. Do you buy all the products you review?
Yes, I do. I'm too small to receive free stuff, but yeah, I buy everything that I review, and I also keep everything that I review, because some of the things that I bought it so that I can enhance my quality of everything that I do online. But then at the same time, there will be giveaways down the line. So I have them in storage, and I will be having raffles, and I'll be having random giveaways.
Yeah. Hey, I'm there. I'm there.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do
And
this.
the giveaway is for everyone.
Excellent. Wow. Very generous of you. Very nice of you.
Mhm.
What motivates Gil?
What motivates me?
Yeah. What motivates Gil?
Yeah, putting a smile on someone's face. Giving a helping hand. Seeing people that's struggling find a way to receive some information or knowledge from me where that light bulb turns on. Like, there could be someone that's, I'll give you an example. When I go out and I deliver a tech talk,
Yep.
if I'm delivering a tech talk to an entire audience, there may be one half of the room that doesn't get it, the other half does. I think it makes sense for me as a professional to be innovative and creative to try to figure out, how do I get my point across to the other side of the room? So again, if I see there's someone struggling and I'm able to give them a step-by-step strategic process so that they can actually understand it where it's user-friendly, I think that's a huge win. And I think that's what motivates me to be able to help someone in many different areas.
Good. Great answer. Great answer. What do you enjoy most about being an entrepreneur, speaker, motivator, author? Gil?
Yeah. So the good thing for me about being an entrepreneur is that you have extra funds to participate and to donate to causes that are really important to you. And then the other thing is that you have extra funds left over, so that if you wanted to invest or try or experiment into a certain venture and it fails, then you're still okay. So I think that's another point, and I think that's another value. And being an entrepreneur is that if you're not an entrepreneur and you're trying to do certain things with your regular paycheck, if you're not, making crazy of millions of dollars, then you're limited on how many things that you can experiment and try before you really find something that really works. Because everyone thinks that, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, and my first thing that I decide to do is going to work. No, it really doesn't happen like that. I mean, it happens with failure after failure after failure, and then eventually you run into something that's going to actually run or work and take off.
Yeah, you run with it.
That's just from my experience.
Yeah. You ever have a mentor?
I don't have a mentor. I use my grandmother, I use my mother, I use my uncles. Just looking at them, how they grew up and how they worked hard to achieve what they achieved. That's more than what I need as far as in a mentor. But as far as someone to show me how things are done, I typically I'm a risk taker. So I just jumped out there and I tried something. And if I failed at it, I just dust myself back off and I stand back up and I keep trying again. So that's really in me. I know there are a lot of people that are afraid to step out and try something. But I encourage everyone to give it a try. So here's my thing. How do you know you're going to succeed if you don't try it? I know so many people are afraid to step out and try it because they're afraid of what someone's going to say, and they're also afraid of failure.
Yep, definitely. A little afraid to take that leap of faith at times. So true, so true. If you could give your 15-year-old self a bit of advice, what would it be?
Listen more. Yeah. My wife tells me all the time that I'm not a good listener. I don't listen well. I don't follow directions well. So I would say if I was 15 years of age and I had to give myself some advice, I would say listen more, move slowly, and take a step back, observe situations, and then have a retrospective with myself. Have that conversation with yourself about what's working well, what's not working well, and some of the things that I can experiment the next time around that could possibly help things, go through a lot smoother.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned that, failure after failure after failure, that's the entrepreneur journey. I mean, that's all part of the growth, stages. So what do you take away from your failures? Like, obviously every individual is an individual case and you can learn something different, but generally, what do you look for, or like, how do you bounce back from a failure?
Yeah, I would say how I bounce back from a failure is that you have to run your own lane. And you have to go out and find what's going to work for you. And I'm saying that because there are so many people that's running and chasing after dreams of other people that they think are successful.
Ooh,
instead of running their own lane.
Good
and
point.
and that was part of my failures, is because I had peers around me. I saw people on the internet or just people in general that were doing certain things, or we thought they were making a ton of money by doing certain things. And then I gave it a try. And again, just because something is working for someone else doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. So
True.
again, my failures, how I pick myself up is basically just started figuring out what it is that I have inside of me that is of value. And I started digging down deep and searching for that. And speaking was one of the things that I was afraid of. I had a strong voice, but the speaking part, I was so afraid because I used to always thinking about, what if I get in front of an audience and go blank? What if I forget about my speech? What if I forget my words or my lines? And the same thing for music. I used to listen to music for many, many, many years. And every time my favorite song come on, I will hum the song. I will sing or the chant or the hook. But the rest of the words, I'm humming the rest of the words. So I never really took the time to memorize some of the words. And I thought that was going to transfer over to me speaking. So that was a huge failure for me and a fear for me. But again, I was a risk taker. I gave it a try. But it wasn't until years later that I realized that speaking is not about memorizing a 5-minute, 10-minute, or 15-minute speech. It's about looking at your bullet points and telling a story about each bullet point.
Right. Good.
But it wasn't until many years later until I realized that.
So what's the most interesting business that you've ever been involved in?
The most interesting business I've ever been involved in.
Yeah.
I would say drywall, hanging drywall and painting, and / concrete. Don't ask me how they mix together. But I was doing drywall, I was doing painting, and I ran a concrete paving company all at the same time.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so the reason I did the concrete was because with the drywall, when I started learning how to hang drywall and do the bed and tape, all of the YouTube videos that I was watching, they didn't tell me about the quick setting mud. So there's something called quick setting mud. So when you hang,
that out, eh?
Yeah. So when you hang your drywall, and there are joints in between every drywall sheet.
Yep.
You put a piece of tape in between each drywall sheet to hide the seam, and then you cover it with some quick setting mud. So I was using just regular compound mud, which takes overnight to dry, and I didn't know that. So that was one challenge that I faced, and that was an interesting job. But the concrete, my uncle has been driving cement trucks for over 30 years.
Right.
And he does a lot of concrete. And so over the phone, he shared with me how to do concrete. And so I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I actually went and got my first job with my neighbor across the street.
Yeah.
And I went and rented a concrete saw. I rented a concrete saw from Home Depot, and I watched YouTube on how to cut concrete. And myself, and then I had my wife's cousin and a friend to come on this journey with me. And we started cutting concrete. We started pouring concrete. And it's funny to me. Yeah, it's funny to me now, but it's not. It wasn't funny if this would have happened. I went and bought some stakes, and the stakes that I bought was from Home Depot to hold the concrete. And the stakes that I bought was like some really flimsy stakes. And before I went out and did this big job, my first big job, I asked my wife, I said, hey, should I go and hire an expert to help me with this, or should I go and try to do this on my own?
Let me guess the answer.
Well, here's the thing. I said, if I have an expert to help me, here's going to be our take home. But if I don't have an expert to help me, and if I go and do it myself, then we're going to gain more in the profit. So
Nice.
she said, I think it make more sense to hire an expert, take less profit until you know what you're doing.
Yep.
Smart thing. I'm glad she did it, because here's the thing. We went out there to do the job, and I showed up with those flimsy stakes.
Yep.
And the expert looked at me. He said, Gil, what is this? I said, these are the stakes that's going to hold the concrete. He said, no, this is garbage. Throw this away. So what he did, because he's an expert, he took my huge 2x4s. He took his saw. He cut himself some 2x4s, and he cut the stakes in the 2x4s, and they're really, really huge and strong.
Yep.
That's what held the concrete up. And I tell you, we poured, it was a huge shed that we poured. And when we poured that shed, the concrete that was coming out, it was so strong and so powerful. The stakes that I brought could not have held that up. So I really, really appreciate my wife for saying, yes, go hire some professional help. So
that know the tricks of the trade.
Yep.
Definitely. Yep. I always say that, you're not paying for their labor, you're paying for the tricks of the trade of what they know up here. Absolutely. Exactly. Travis, I got a question for you.
Yep.
What was your best track time?
So I didn't run the 100 meters as my event. So my event was 400 meters and 200 meters. 200 meters, my fastest time was 21 flat, and 400 meters was 45.8.
Beautiful. And next, can you guys race?
Race how? On
your feet?
Yeah, let's race. Let's do it.
Okay, next show, Travis and you racing.
All right, I like that. I like that.
Done. So tell me something that you're really proud of that you've achieved.
Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, writing my first book. Yeah, writing my first book was a daunting task. And so what caused me to write the book, I already explained that, as far as, creating something and put it in one single source where people can actually use that to help them land a tech job. But the other challenge was just getting started. Like, I put it off for so many years, and then all of a sudden someone walked up to me and he said, hey, Gil, if you write a book and if you write 10 pages a month, and in 10 months you'll have 100 pages. I didn't think about it like that. And once he said that to me, that's all I needed to hear. And I began writing. And in no time, I had a book. I published it. I self-published it on Amazon. And, since then, I've started writing my second book, and I'm almost done.
Titles are?
So can't give you the title of the second book, but I could tell you it's a motivational book to help everyone in the world.
Got it. That's definitely something you should be proud of. Good for you, Gil. Good for you. So, okay, speaking about books, what are your top 3 favorite books?
Top 3 favorite books. I don't want to say Think and Grow Rich like everyone else says.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. Well, I would say To Kill a Mockingbird, and here's why. I had to read To Kill a Mockingbird because I watched the story on it, and I watched the movie, but I didn't answer the questions the way I needed to answer them by just watching the movie. So I was forced to go and read the book so that I can actually have a better score on the test when we wrote the essay for it. So I would say To Kill a Mockingbird because that was one of the first books that I read that did not have pictures in it. So Rick, for years I had this complex that if a book didn't have pictures, all the way from a kid, like once I got to like 4th grade or 5th grade or 3rd grade, when the books that we were reading no longer had pictures, I was disappointed. I was no longer engaged or interested in reading books. So it wasn't until later on in life until I started reading books. But I would have to say To Kill a Mockingbird, and of course Think and Grow Rich. And I did read the book Crush It by Gary Vee. Yep. So I did read that.
Good. What investors or entrepreneurs do you follow?
I think I teased someone on one of your live streams about, I think you asked them, who do they follow on YouTube as far as some of the financial gurus?
Yep.
And I said, don't say Grant Cardone, just as a joke. But yeah, huge fan of Grant Cardone. I know a lot of people don't like him because he swears a lot. But I think the guy gave me a lot of down-to-earth truth about certain things, especially about renting versus buying a home. Yep. So I like that concept. The other person is Dan Locke. I like Dan Locke. I don't know if anyone else follow Dan Locke.
Out of Vancouver.
Yep. So I like Dan Locke too. Who else do I like? I watch a lot of the guys that show you different tips and tricks on how to grow your channel on YouTube. I think there's a guy named Daryl Reeves. I watch Daryl Reeves.
Okay.
He's a guy that's always showing you how to grow your YouTube channel.
Yep. Definitely. Always good to follow people to help us with our channels.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So what's the best piece of business advice you've gotten?
From YouTube or just in general?
For what? In general.
Yeah. So YouTube is basically, you have to put your face out there. You know, people want to know who's behind the brand. And for many years, I wanted to start a YouTube channel. For many years, I wanted to have a business, you know, that's online, but I didn't want to show my face.
Right.
But then once I realized that in order to really get some traction, in order to really build a true fan base, at some point you're going to have to reveal your face because people really want to relate and see who it is they're supporting. Yeah. I see someone here, Patrick Bet David. Yeah, I like Patrick too. I think he relocated to the Dallas area. He's a really good person that I learn a lot of good tips from on YouTube.
Yeah, he's good. Yep. He's really good, definitely. So what's your definition of being successful?
You know what? That's a funny question, and that's a good question because I hear that question being asked a lot. I know a lot of people relate it and tie it and sync it back to money.
Right.
But for me, it's not about money. I think it's about creating something that you can impact the world and something that people can benefit and utilize. Because if you create something that people can benefit and utilize, then guess what? The money will come. So you don't have to worry about the finance part of it. But that's what I would say.
Got it. So when do you ever plan upon retiring?
That's a good question. I do have a plan, but as far as a strategic plan laid out, I would say I don't have one verbatim right now today. But in my head, I do have a plan, but I don't really have it laid out like I should.
Okay, so what's your definition of being retired? What is Gil doing when he's retired?
So here's the thing about the word retired. Retired to me means that you're no longer receiving, that you're no longer providing a service where you're receiving an income. Retired for me will be that while I'm sleeping and while I'm really retired, that I have money generating and working for me behind the scenes,
right,
where I never have to go out and do anything else to generate a dollar. That I set myself up in a way where I can create a stream of income that can live for many years, and also for my kids and my grandkids to live off of for many years to come.
Good structure. I like it. So let's take a 30-second break here. And Mario, you're on. And anybody else here that's watching this currently right now, or wants to be, or afterwards, anybody, any entrepreneur, any motivator, any investor that wants to be on this show in the future, absolutely. Just message me below, comment below, or message me on Instagram by all means. Absolutely. All right. So Gil, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now?
Yeah.
Hopefully I see myself interviewing Bill Gates, hopefully interviewing all of the tech leaders in the industry.
Wow.
And actually going inside of their organization and walking around and taking a tour, and also interviewing and walking and talking with the CEOs and also the leaders of the industry.
Wow. Good for you. So how do you plan on growing and getting to that point over the next 5 years? Like whether or not it's you being an author, a speaker, or an entrepreneur, what's your game plan?
Yeah, I think it all helps. I think with me going out speaking and in the back of the room, I have an opportunity to set up and sell my books, which also grow and build my audience.
Right.
And it also build my fan base for people to look me up. So when I go out to a speaking engagement, my goal is to make sure that at some point that I do some sort of a shout out to say, hey, take a moment to follow me on Instagram and follow me to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. So every city that I go to, that's my plan to continue growing over the next 5 years so that I can actually reach that level so that I can be the person that they call to say, hey, I want you to come and interview some of these tech leaders.
Yeah. All right. So what's a typical day for you?
Typical day for me, on the phone talking to various leaders in the industry for any engagement that I'm working on for different companies. Along with looking at what good products are the next best product to unbox, because I think it's all about searchable content. If I unbox something that's not searchable or is not really trending or hot on YouTube, then to me, I think it doesn't have any value. If it's something that I need to go and buy, then I may just unbox it just for the sake of unboxing it. But I want to try to unbox things that's going to help people and things that people are really looking to purchase and buy, and they really want to see what it looks like. And I try to make an entertaining way of unboxing and unveiling.
So every tech product that you unbox, you're purchasing yourself.
Yes, out of my own pocket.
Out of your own pocket. And I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. So how
do you need?
Yeah. So Rick, here's the thing. If I'm gonna grow a channel where I'm unboxing tech things or tech items or gadgets, then because my channel is so small, companies will not send me free products until I reach a certain status. So until I get there, I have to fund the money. So this is like any other business. When any other business, it's a risk. So you go out and you risk starting a business, and you have to have some upfront money. I hear a lot of gurus all the time that talk about, oh, you can start this business, no money down, or you can do this, or you can do that.
You can find investors.
At some point, you have to have some liquid money to get started.
Yeah.
That's from my experience. I can't speak on anyone else.
Yeah. Well, if you can pitch to investors, VCs, and get them to cover the cash for you, the initial capital, then you're doing fine. But a lot of people, at the startup stage, really tough for them to do that sort of stuff, right? So, so what are some of your mistakes that you wish you could have avoided in the past?
Mistakes that I wish I could have avoided in the past.
Yeah.
I learn from my mistakes, Rick. I think, and you know what? I've worked in companies, Rick, where they celebrate the losses. They celebrate the failures. See, a lot of companies and a lot of people think that it's a bad thing to fail, but we always encourage everyone that it's okay to fail as long as you fail early and often. So I welcome failure, because without failure, I can never reach the level of where I am today. I can never be where I am in the space where I am today.
Yeah.
So had I not failed over and over and over, I would possibly be way behind on doing something that's really not going to work 5 and 10 years ago.
Yeah. I always make sure our staff celebrates the milestones, the achievements. But when it does come to the failures, we definitely will always sit down, powwow as to what have we learned from this.
Exactly.
Come back, retract, and then go move forward in a different direction. So great answer, Gil. Great answer. So what's unique about you as a speaker, and you're getting all these, you're a consultant during the day as well. Like, what separates you apart from the competition?
So what separates me apart from the competition is because I lived it. I do it today. And I know what it's like when I interview over and over. And when I return home, or if I'm off the call, or if I had a face-to-face or a Skype interview and I didn't hear anything back, I know that something went wrong somewhere during the interview. And so part of my job is to have a retrospective to figure out what went wrong, what could I do better, and then what are some things I can experiment the next time around so that I can make sure I'm not making those same mistakes. So I welcome feedback, and I encourage everyone to move to a place in your life where you're accepting and welcoming feedback in everything that you do.
Yeah. Good point. Really good point. All right. Alex, aka Blood Phantom 81's got a question for you. Go.
Let's see. I can't see Alex's.
No. Okay. So it says, question for Gil. What are 1 or 2 tips people overlook the most on your How to Land a Tech Job book?
Selling themselves. A lot of people don't understand the importance of the number one question when they walk into an interview is that someone is going to ask them, so tell me about yourself. And the moment they ask that question, you have to be ready to go. You have to know exactly what it is you need to tell them about yourself in terms of providing value of landing that job. So when they ask the question about, so tell me about yourself, they're not asking about, tell me about yourself in terms of your family history or where you come from. All they care about is tell me about yourself as to why I need to hire you. How will you make a difference and a value add to our organization? So that's what they're looking for.
Good, good. You have a challenge here. Will you put on the Iron Man mask that's on your wall behind you?
Sure.
Yeah. Doesn't even flinch.
I'll take my glasses off.
Interview with it on. It doesn't even flinch. Yo, you're classic. I love it. I love it. That's great. Put the glasses on the outside. I love it. That's fantastic.
If it will stay. Let's try it.
Never know what to expect.
All right.
Do we? All right. Excellent. All right. So what habits help make you so successful? Is it wearing Iron Man masks?
Habits. I would say staying consistent. Can you still hear me, Rick?
You're a little muffled, but you can, you can speak louder.
So staying consistent.
Oh, geez.
I think staying consistent is very important and making sure that you become successful. Not only just for yourself, but others around you. When others around you see that you're consistent, you're setting an example for them to follow and also for them to believe in your vision. If you're a leader in your organization or if you're someone that's leading and guiding a community of people, I think leadership is very important. A lot of people look at leadership as the title. Oh, I carry the title as I'm a leader. No, leadership means that you are someone that someone wants to follow and wants to mimic and want to actually say, you know what, that person is doing something I like and I want to follow that person. I want to know everything about that person so that I can actually be successful like that person.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. So what are some of your strengths and weaknesses?
Strengths.
As an entrepreneur first.
Yeah.
Do they vary with you when it comes to you being a speaker and also an author? Or do you think that there's a common thread amongst all three?
I think they all have their different challenges and strengths and weaknesses.
So let's start off with entrepreneur first. What do you think are your strengths and weaknesses of being an entrepreneur? What do you think?
Yeah, so weaknesses is the fear of not knowing how things are going to turn out.
Okay.
Not knowing if you're going to still be in business tomorrow. That's the fear.
Fear drives us as entrepreneurs, right? Fears what
Exactly. The strength, I would say, will be having the guts to do it. Being a risk taker, just getting out there doing it. You know, a lot of times I want to always make sure things are so perfect. But to me, it's all about just getting started and make improvements along the way. So once I got that concept, Rick, I mean, I can care less about, you know, what people say, all the negative comments. And, you know, I really wish it was a way that we can find out who's leaving those negative comments on videos, because I go to some videos that are very, very helpful. And immediately people are just leaving negative comments. And I'm like, this is helpful information. Like, how could you leave a negative comment on this? So
happens. Haters, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But I welcome haters, because if you're not doing something right, then Rick, guess what? Then the haters are gone. So I think if you're doing something right, you're gonna have haters. So I think haters are a good thing. We need haters.
Yeah, yeah. So you elaborate as being a speaker and an author as well. Your strengths and weaknesses.
Yep. So as an author, I would say the weakness will be that you know, the unknown about knowing whether or not you're delivering content that's going to be helpful or people that need it, or is there going to be an audience for it? Even though if you check the market and you think that it's an audience, or sometimes people have a passion for something, even if you have a passion for something, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be something that the market needs. I still think we all need to do our own research. But as a challenge as an author, as a strength as an author, I would say just getting out there, putting the content out. You know, that's my strength. I can sit down, I can write. And here's the thing about being an author: you don't have to be a great writer. That's what editors are for. So just write and tell your story in terms of your journey, and let the editors do their job, and that's it. And you don't have to pay a ton of money for editors. There are editors out there on Upwork.com and also Fiverr.com that are really good. Look at their reviews and find you a good editor.
Yeah.
I think the other one was speaking. The weakness in speaking, again, used to be for me, Rick, about forgetting my content or forgetting my story and forgetting or just going blank or just going to a state of shock.
Yeah.
I've gotten over that. Yeah, okay. I've gotten over that. And now my strength is my voice. I think I have a very strong voice, but I need to learn how to take pauses and breaks, because a lot of times I run my sentences together. So I'm still improving. I'm getting better every day.
Okay, so I don't think many of us here in the stream tonight, or probably watching this afterwards, are a part of the speaker niche, shall we say, niche. So elaborate on one of your stories, of one of your first stories of being a speaker, and going blank. what was that like? What happened?
So I'll talk about high school. So in high school, I was inspired to speak from Martin Luther King. And I said, wow, someone can move the crowd like that just from their voice. And then immediately I said, that's something that I wanted to do. So we had a speaking competition in high school, and I actually joined it. But here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about that. I was known for being a joker at school. So when my buddies had an opportunity, so here's the thing. Once we actually got our speech together and we was ready to go to competition, they allowed us to go from classroom to classroom and practice in front of our classmates. And so when I had an opportunity to walk in some of my classes with some of my peers, some of the guys that was on the track team and basketball team and football team with me, they were sitting in there, and I'm always joking all the time. So when I had to walk in and I see them and they're laughing at me, that was like the hardest thing for me to stay like straight face and be serious and kind of like overlook them. You know how people say when you're speaking, try to think about the audience being naked or something like that so you won't be afraid? That's not really true for me, because I just started shaking and I don't know, I just went blank. And I started repeating some of the same words. And I started saying to myself, I said, if I repeat the same paragraph or the same sentence, they wouldn't get it. But in reality, they did get it. And we were able to look at some cue cards. Yeah. But again, at that time, Rick, I was thinking that I had to memorize my entire speech. But it's not about memorizing the speech. It's about looking at bullet points and then telling a story about each bullet point. So I didn't know that at the time.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Having the bullet points there so you just stay on track is definitely got to be helpful for you, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Definitely. So what's your favorite day of the week?
That's a good question. It used to be, you know what, Rick? At some point in my life, I came to the conclusion where I'm no longer going to say I have a favorite day of the week. Right. I'm going to live every day like it's Friday. I'm going to live it every day like it's Friday. But it wasn't until I became an entrepreneur. Once I became an entrepreneur, then I started really feeling excited about going out and achieving and reaching for the stars. Working as an employee, I dreaded Mondays. But once I became an entrepreneur, I look forward to Mondays, because Monday through Fridays were days that I can generate dollars.
Mondays are the best. Can't wait. I'm glad to hear you say that. Les, thank you so much for the super chat. Everybody get over to his channel right there, Garth Balian. Go and check it out. Thank you so much, buddy. $5 is probably more than I've made in the last month on Google. Yeah, on YouTube. That's good. Thanks. Doing huge. All right. So you moving forward as a speaker, as an author, as an entrepreneur, what kind of risks in each of these areas are you facing? Challenges, risks, we'll say.
Yeah.
You going to say?
I would say the risk will be as a speaker.
Sorry, as a what?
Say it one more time, Rick.
I say you're going to say pass these questions.
No, what was it?
What challenges do you get? Are you facing? Or risks are you facing moving forward in all three areas of your life right now?
Yeah, I would say as a speaker, getting booked frequently. As an author, getting my book out there to tell my story so that I can help more people.
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, again, is getting to a place to where I can actually go to sleep and still make money while I'm sleeping. Those are the only challenges that I'm facing.
Yeah, good for you. So do you get a lot of repeat as a speaker? Do you get a lot of repeat sessions, like people calling you back up to say, you're fantastic, love to have you back here in the next few months, or even a year later, get in contact with you and say, hey, Gil, we want you back. You're doing great. You did great.
Yes, a lot of repeat, and then also a lot of referrals from the people that I've actually had an opportunity to go and speak for. So yeah, I get a lot of that.
Good.
Yep.
Hey, everybody, if you have any questions for Gil, over on this side here, place them down there, okay? I'm keeping an eye on it. Hopefully, I won't miss any. So please post any questions that you guys have got for Gil, and anything, being an entrepreneur, a speaker, tech unboxing guy, everything. So, all right. Have you ever been involved in a partnership?
Yeah, not in a partnership where we were really making some money, but as teenagers and as in my early 20s, you know, my friend and I decided we were going to have our own record label and we were going to do all these great things together. But then once we didn't make any money, and, you know, someone's vision may not be your vision. Someone's work ethic may not be your work ethic. So you may have to start doing things on your own. So because of those experiences in the past, everything that I've done since then have been independently. Wow.
How much time are you dedicating to your YouTube channel right now?
That's a good question. A lot.
I would say we all relate to that.
At least 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
at least 8 hours a day.
8 hours a day,
if not more. Yeah.
So how many videos are you posting a week? Are you doing like 2?
No, you know what I've been doing the most? I've been actually writing in my book, and every time I take a break from writing in my book, I'll go and start engaging with my audience. Right. And so that's when you ask the question about when do I sleep? I'm writing my book, but at the same time, when I get an alert that someone just made a comment or someone just posted a new video, then to me, it's my obligation to go out and show them some love. So that's where I'm writing my book, and I'm also engaging with my audience. So I haven't been publishing videos frequently because I'm almost done with my book. Once I'm done with my book, I should be done like mid March. Let's see. Yeah, mid-March I should be done. And between now and then, I will be publishing books, and I'll start not publishing books, but I will be publishing videos a lot more frequently. Good. Yeah, the video, I mean, it takes so much time on your channel, right? I mean, I'm sure like the editing part is probably the longest process for you. Exactly. Crazy. That's a whole other topic, though. That's for another show called Creator Talk. Ryan's and my channels at 8:30. Exactly. Question for you: what's been your favorite thing you've unboxed so far? The favorite thing I've unboxed so far, I would have to say the JBL speaker, and here's why. I had an opportunity to hang it on the clip. So there's a clip on the JBL speaker. Yeah. So I had an opportunity to go outside and do some outdoor activities, and I hung the JBL Clip 2 speaker on my sweatpants while I was doing push-ups, while I was running around. I shot a few baskets, and I did some jogging exercises. And so I came back to the camera and I was talking into the camera.
Right.
And so that was, to me, one of the most memorable experiences, along with doing the comparison between a $5 pair of earbuds and a $20 pair of earbuds. Oh, I'm sorry. They weren't earbuds. They were headphones. I did a review on $5 pair headphones and a $20 pair. So I would say those two are the most memorable.
Wow. If you can give somebody a bit of advice, getting back over to you being a speaker, if you can give anybody that's starting out becoming a speaker, what would it be?
Speak in front of a mirror. Just start talking and just tell your story. You don't have to have a scripted, written out speech. You just start about whatever topic you want to talk about, and whatever area you want to focus in, but you want to narrow it down. You don't want to be all over the place. You don't want to be a motivational speaker. You don't want to be a wellness speaker. You don't want to be a fitness speaker. You don't want to have so many different genres going on. You want to find one place and hone in on that one place, and just start talking and telling your story in front of your mirror. Once you do that, then go out and go to Toastmasters. Go to places where you can actually speak in front of a small audience and get some feedback on the spot. So that's what I recommend.
Yeah, I've heard Toastmasters is great for getting the ball rolling if you want to be a speaker, right? A public speaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good. That's great advice, Gil. Thanks. Very good advice. So what do you admire the most in people?
That they're interesting. It's never a dull moment. You never know. You never know what you're gonna encounter when you engage with people, especially meeting new people or existing people.
Right.
So I think just people in general is very interesting, and we can learn from a lot of people. So here's the thing with me, Rick. When I used to go back home to my so I'm originally from West Palm Beach, Florida. And when I went to college in Jacksonville, Florida, which is about 4.5 hours away. So every time I went home, there were a lot of older guys that live in my neighborhood, and they sit around and they drink and play checkers all day. And I used to go and sit with them, and I learned a lot just by hanging around those guys about wisdom, about life. And I take some of those same things and I apply it to my everyday life. So the things that I learned from growing up with my grandmother and my mom and my uncles, and along with the older guys that are sitting around playing checkers, has really, really tremendously helped me in terms of my confidence and just life experiences and just about being a risk taker.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. So similar question, but slightly different. What do you value most in people?
I value their honesty. If someone can be open and honest with me, that's what I value in people the most.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to always have people from various backgrounds and various personalities. So I think it's on us to try to change the narrative. I think it's on us to change the way the conversation goes, because you can have a conversation with someone, and if you see that conversation is going negatively, I think it's on us to be creative to try to figure out how can we turn this negative conversation into a positive conversation. And because some people, they're really just cut out and they're just meant to just be negative all day. But I think if you are around them and you cheer them up, when you change that conversation into something more delightful, I think that's a huge win for you and also for that person, because that person may have been having a bad day, or that person just may be a negative person, but you actually just change that person's mindset. So that's what I get out of it.
Yeah, good points. Very good points. Describe yourself in 3 words.
I'm a big joker. I don't know, in 3 words. Over the top, outgoing, and never meet a stranger. I know that's not 3 words, but
close enough. Close enough. So when are you most productive in the day?
That's a good question. I'm most productive during the day at night when things slow down, when my neighbors are asleep and not many people are on the internet, where I have a faster Wi-Fi service.
Good one. Good one. So all these high-tech products that you continue to keep unboxing, Which one do you wish that you hadn't purchased? Is there one?
Yeah. Which one I wish I hadn't purchased? I would say the most recent purchase. I just purchased a Linksys router for extending your Wi-Fi network throughout your house.
Yep.
And I went the cheap route. So I didn't buy the most expensive and I didn't buy the one in the middle. I bought the least expensive. And because of buying the least expensive, I had the hardest time trying to put it together, and I did not find any success in it. So I may do a review on it to share my experiences or my challenges with it. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but that's the one I would say that I really don't want to say I regret anything, but that's the one that I would say that out of all of my purchases is the one that I'm not going to use.
Got it. Okay, so between you and I, nobody else listening, have you ever returned any of your products?
Oh, no, I haven't.
You kept them all?
Yeah, I still have everything.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so that's the purpose of my giveaways in the future.
Wow, that's impressive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And are you kind of like circulating through everything?
I have labels on everything, and then at some point I have a storage inside of a climate control storage, and I have it on racks, and I have everything labeled in different aisles. And so what I plan to do one day is take the camera inside of my storage and start from the very top and just walk everyone through every item that I've purchased that I'm going to give away in the future.
Wow. Wow. Oh, yeah. That's impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Impressive. How many books have you read this past year?
Since 2020 or since 2019?
Oh, sorry, 2019. Yeah, I mean, the last 3 weeks.
Probably 2. Well, my book over and over, because I released How to Land a Tech Job in 2019. But I also that's when I read Crush It by Gary Vee.
Yep.
In 2019. But before that, that's when I read all the other books that I read in the past.
Got it. Okay, so assuming you're on a desert island, assuming that there's electricity, which of your products, 3 of them, would you take?
Good question. No electricity.
No, there is electricity. There is.
There is.
There is. Yes, this is a very high-tech island for you to be stranded on.
So if there is electricity, what about a phone tower?
Sure, that's going to help you select your 3 items that you're going to take this round.
Oh, I get to take 3 items.
Next question's going though, right? You're on a neighboring island that doesn't have electricity. What other 3 items are you going to take?
Okay, so let's start with the first one.
All right, sounds good.
If I'm stranded on an island and I could take 3 tech items with me, it's going to be my cell phone, laptop, and it does have electricity. Maybe a lamp. Maybe one of my filming lamps.
Okay. All right. Yep. So now you get, hurricane happens and you get thrown over to the other island that doesn't have electricity.
Yep.
What now are you taking over there?
Does it have to be tech, or could it be just anything?
You know what? Yeah. Let's expand the question. The answer for you could be anything.
Yeah. So definitely going to take a blanket because I want to be comfortable. Depending on the climate, depending on the weather.
Yeah.
Since you said tent, I'm going to be creative to try to create my own tent. So I'm not going to bring a tent. I'm going to replace that with something else.
Right.
Let's replace that with a table. I don't need a table to eat on. Maybe some magazines, something to read, something to do while I'm there other than just walking around. Maybe a barbecue pit.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. So could you go, you being such a tech guy, could you go a week without your smartphone?
I can if my life didn't depended on it. If I didn't need it for my job, then yeah, I couldn't.
Okay. Yeah. So getting to know you a bit more, what's one of the craziest things that Gil has ever done? Remember, it's a family show.
Yeah. I've been keeping it rated PG. The craziest thing I've done was when my uncle, so I grew up with my grandmother, And so one of my uncles, when he left college, he came back home and stayed with my grandmother and I for a little bit
Yep.
before finding his job and going and moving out.
Yep.
So when he started dating this lady, she used to come over all the time. And when she came over, I was in the band, so I had a drum set. So as soon as she came over, I went in the room and I left the door open and I started beating my drums. Every time, it never failed. And so I don't know if it was just, she was taking my uncle away from me, because as a teenager, now I had a big brother to hang out with. But now when she came around, she kind of took away my uncle from me. So I think I used that as a way of being annoying.
Yeah.
And as a way of saying, I'm a little jealous that my time with me and my uncle is being taken by someone. So
yeah,
I would say that's one crazy thing that I did, and I regret it to this day. And they're still married over 30-something years now.
Whoa, look out.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's great. All right, Sherry's got a question for you. Do you give your products as Christmas gifts?
I will give my products away throughout the year, but definitely I'll do them during Christmas and Thanksgiving time.
Good for you. So do family members or friends approach you just before Christmas and ask for your input?
No, they haven't. Oh, as far as my input, yes. So just recently, my sister was asking me about OLED. So there's an OLED TV that's out.
Right.
And so she was asking me about OLED. And so I explained to her a little bit about OLED. But at that time when she was asking me, the OLED TVs had really just came on the market and became really popular. So I had to do my own research around what OLED TVs are. And it's about really improving the pixels. It's about making the quality of your image a lot clearer and better than what we have now, like the 720 pixels.
Yeah.
So basically, you're taking your 720 pixels to a whole new resolution for the audience and for your customers.
Cool. Very cool. All right, Alex. Once again, aka Blood Phantom 81. Everybody check out his channel as well. Gil, you comment a lot. What's some of your favorite smaller channels?
I can't say that.
Why?
Because
No?
I have so many.
No.
I have so many. So I don't have just one. The Helpful Entrepreneur is one.
Oh,
J-Mac, yeah, J-Mac, Travis, everyone that's always been supporting me since I've been supporting them. So definitely, I would have to say everyone that's in the Helpful Entrepreneur community.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
But everybody here as well, like I said earlier, by all, please, everybody get out there, support one another, support our streams as much as you can as well, our videos, everything. Just comment. You are the godfather of commenting. It's amazing. we were talking about this before we went live. It's like Gil's channel was one of the first that I subscribed to, and I started early in 2019. And ever since then, he's just been so supportive for all of us, and it's really good to see. So once again, thanks a lot, Gil. You've been really amazing guy on the YouTube journey, and positivity that you convey to others is definitely greatly appreciated. So I told Gil we'd take this up to an hour. It's just a little bit over an hour. So if you guys have got any more questions, please throw them out. Probably start wrapping this up in the next 5 minutes or so. I'm sure he's got a lot more products to research to get ready for his next videos and whatnot. And everybody, you got to check out Gil's channel. Please, subscribe, spread the Gil word. Please do that. Okay. So what makes you laugh, Gil? What makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh? Comedy. I try to watch a lot of comedy.
Yep.
So that's what makes me laugh. And even when I go out and do speaking engagements, I watch a lot of stand-up comedy, because I think a lot of stand-up comedy helps me in telling stories. Because to me, comics are really great storytellers. And so I use them as a way of bettering myself, but then also entertaining myself to keep laughter going.
Good. What's something that you would like to tell the community or anybody watching this about yourself that you haven't said before?
Rick, could you repeat the question, please?
Oh, sorry. What would you like? Is there anything that you would like to tell the community or anybody watching this that they don't know about you, or something that you would just like to, get out there as a message or anything like that?
Well, I think I already mentioned that I earned a track scholarship and I ran professional for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm originally from West Palm Beach, and I moved from Jacksonville, Florida to Dallas, Texas. And
Right.
I've been here now 20 years. Yeah.
And you're enjoying every minute of it, right?
I'm enjoying every minute of it. Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great to hear. Well, you know what? I think we should start wrapping it up. I just want to say once again, from not just from me, but from everybody here, Gil, you've been a huge support to the community. You've been very positive. You've been, you've been great. You've been a pillar of the community, to say the least. So keep it up. I know everybody here, when they start, all the creators that are watching, they post another video, you know, Gil's going to be there within the top 3, man, always. So it's been really fun talking to you. I feel like I'm talking to a legend almost, to be honest. so Gil, I mean,
I'm still growing. Yeah, still
Yeah.
growing and learning, getting better every day.
Boxing videos. I love that brand behind you. We were talking about that earlier as well. So keep it up. You're doing an amazing job. So everybody, let's support Gil. There you go. Beautiful. That must have cost you thousands of dollars, and some professional that has probably did that for you. Is that correct?
I wish. No.
We're talking about that earlier, everybody. He did that himself. He did the brand himself. He did everything to himself. I was like, wow, that's amazing. It looks so good. He's like, oh yeah, I did it all myself. Like, wow, that's impressive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. Let's wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, everybody follow Gil Tech Unboxing Videos. Okay, guys? Once again, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Have a good night. Thanks, guys.